Well, we could talk about Marie Kondo and her approach to magic cleaning, but let's talk song. In this video, we are going to look at odd time signatures and how they can actually be applied to pop music. We are going to look at different pedal tone and ostinato techniques. After that, we are going to look at special song forms. And finally, we are going to look at rhyming techniques and the way we can use them to develop verses. Climbing up on Solsbury Hill, I could see the city lights. This video is going to be an analysis of Peter Gabriel's Solsbury Hill. Thank you. I don't really remember who it was. I'll make sure to have it here. I'm really glad to have viewers that actually have a good taste in music. Thank you for that suggestion. It was really fun working on this and I hope it helps. The first thing that strikes me when listening to Peter Gabriel's Solsbury Hill, usually on the radio, is its odd time signature. It's actually a song in 7/8, and this is really rare when we talk about pop music and music that is on the radio. So in this video we are going to look at how to apply a 7/8 technique without people noticing and without people saying, well, this is prog, I won't listen to this. The best way to show how to apply odd time signatures into a pop song is by looking at the intro riff. Let's do that. The intro riff goes like this. What happens here? Instantaneously we see that the bass note doesn't change at all. So we keep the B note as a root all the time. The melody of the riff is this one. This is the part that everybody recognizes from the song, and it's a hook line that is already established in the intro. We are going to look at harmonies, so everything that I play additionally to the melody. We have got an E major over B. Then we have got a B in second inversion. Back to E over B, then B as a passing chord, and we land on F sharp. E, B, F sharp. If we look at the three chords that are being used, namely the E, the B and the F sharp, plus the pedal note we use all the time, the B, it's pretty clear that we are in the key of B major. The pedal note is really special. Chord functions wise or chord stage degree wise, it's rather simple because we have a 4 that we start with, then we go to the 1, everything else is passing chords, and the third chord that we land on is the 5 chord. So we have a rather simple 4-1-5 structure with special elements such as the pedal note. If we look at the rhythm, there is one very cool strategy used to land on the 7/8 time signature. We can actually split up the 7/8 bar into a group of 3 beats and a group of 4 beats. Let's look at this. The group of 3 beats is this. And then the group of 4 beats is a variation of that. And we always have this pickup, bum, ba-dum. So this is the introduction, the thing before the actual one, the introduction to the riff. Bum, 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 group of 3 and group of 4. So this is something really noteworthy, that if you write a riff in 7/8, make sure that A, it comes naturally, which it does in this case, and B, that you form groups that repeat and that get twisted so that there are recognizable elements within one bar. The second part of the song, this is the part where we actually have Peter Gabriel singing, introduces a new rhythmical and harmonic form. Let's look at this one. So what we have here is really, really simple. We keep this pedal note idea, B as a pedal note, and as an upper structure we have got B, F sharp and B. With a new rhythm. This is a group of 4, rhythmically speaking. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have the vocals, starting on the 5th beat and forming a new group of 3 beats. Climbing up on Solsbury Hill. So we have got an interplay between harmony and melody. They don't go together, but it's one after the other. If we now look at the way this new harmonic and rhythmic form develops, we find that to this pedal note technique, we also add an ostinato technique. An ostinato is basically pedal notes the other way around. With pedal notes, everything but the bass note changes, and with ostinato it's the other way around. We keep the upper structure and change stuff in the bass. Now let's look at the different forms and the way we keep the pedal note technique but also apply the ostinato technique. First form, already familiar. Repeats. Now we have an harmonic change. This also comes twice. And then we go back to the beginning. So we have got the B form. And here we've got something that follows a lot of rules from the B form. We are playing a G sharp minor chord, which is the 6th minor in the key of B. And we basically play the same rhythm and follow the same rules. G sharp minor, F sharp, new pedal note, and G sharp minor in another inversion. So it's basically the same form as here, only that every B becomes a G sharp minor. This is basically what I would call the verse of the song. So 2 bars of B major, 2 bars of G sharp minor, and repeat everything. Because then we have a change in harmony that takes us to another field. We are not in the verse anymore, this becomes pretty clear. I'm talking about this form here. A lot to analyze here. What have we got? We have got basically the same upper structure. This is what I refer to as the ostinato. With one note changing. Remember that before that we had the G sharp minor? And here we land on the E. That is because the new bass note is the E as well. So, this is the form, same rhythm as in the verse, but new harmonies. What we have got here is the G sharp minor shape over E. That is actually an E major 7 voicing. E, G sharp, B, and D sharp. 1, 3, 5, and major 7 of E. We use the F sharp chord as a passing chord again and land on the E. Also repeat this. Then we have the same thing with C sharp and bass. So when E was the 4 chord, E is the 4 of B, when E was the 4 chord, now we have got the 2 minor chord and a very interesting voicing because C sharp, we don't really play the minor 3, no need, with its 5, namely G sharp, its 7, namely B, and its 9, that is the D sharp. And we land on this E major shape again, so this then becomes C sharp minor 7. Basically repeats, but We need something to transition from what I would call the chorus, for lack of alternatives, back to the intro riff, which becomes an interlude after every chorus and before every verse. We have to look at the harmonic development of those chords, but also at the rhythmic changes that are very radical. We start the same way we started the other forms. So this is the form that is a group of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But we don't finish the phrase with a group of 3, but instead with another group of 4, making this the only common time bar in the whole song, because this is an 4-4, this is an 8-8 if you will, a 4-4 bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. So this is the only time that we actually have common time 4-4 in the whole song. And this is used to transition from the chorus to the instrumental interlude, the chords. What we have here is an upward movement from the bass, C sharp, D sharp, E and F sharp, while the chords are C sharp, minor, B, with D sharp and bass, with its 3 in bass, E and F sharp. And then from this F sharp, we dominate towards the B, at least in the bass, that introduces the instrumental interlude. I've already started talking a little bit about the song structure. What is very remarkable with Peter Gabriel's Solsbury Hill is that it hasn't really got a memorable chorus in terms of lyrics and melody. The song starts with the instrumental riff, and this instrumental riff reappears before every new verse. What's after the instrumental riff is pretty clearly a verse, and we have got lyrical variation every time this form repeats. So this is the part where it says, climbing up on Solsbury Hill, I could see the city lights. Verse 2 then is, to keep in silence I resigned, my friends would think I was a nut. And verse number 3 is, when illusions spin her net, I'm never where I wanna be. Okay, so far so good. What I already said is that in terms of harmony, but also in terms of melody, the part where we play the E bass note for the first time is not verse anymore. Let's listen to the part again. I did not believe the information, just had to trust imagination. My heart going boom, boom, boom. Son, he said, grab your things, I've come to take you home. Is it a pre-chorus? Is it pre-chorus and chorus? It's very hard to answer that question. My interpretation is that we build up toward the instrumental riff, making the instrumental riff kind of the chorus of the song, because this is the hook line, the thing that everybody remembers about the song. If you go in the street and ask people to say what Peter Gabriel's Solsbury Hill is, they will say bum 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 ba da ba dum ba da dum. So the part where there is actually no singing, which is why you could argue that this riff is actually the chorus of the song, meaning that it comes after every verse and before every next verse, and everything before that is a build-up towards that chorus, meaning it could be kind of a transitional bridge. There is another way to interpret the second half of the transitional bridge, because here we have got characteristic elements that would actually make for a chorus, like for example this boom 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 part, or this take you home phrase that gets varied but appears every time that this transitional bridge or chorus actually plays a role. There is no clear answer to that question. Is everything before the instrumental riff the pre-chorus, the transitional bridge that builds up? Or is actually this, my heart going boom, boom, boom. Hey, he said, grab your things, I've come to take you home. The chorus. No clear answer to that. Maybe you can leave a comment and tell me what you think about that question. Is everything with vocals the transitional bridge towards the chorus that has got no vocals? Or is the transitional bridge actually half transitional bridge and half chorus? You tell me what you think. As always, at the end of the video, we are going to take a closer look at the lyrics. This time, we are not going to look at line by line. We are just going to look at development of rhyming patterns that actually have a high prosodic value. Prosody is when words and music combine to mean something, and this is quite interesting in Peter Gabriel's Solsbury Hill. First verse introduces a rhyming pattern that is A-B-A-B. Climbing up on Solsbury Hill, I could see the city light. Wind was blowing, time stood still, eagle flew out of the night. This is a rhyming pattern that we actually keep throughout the whole song. Every verse follows that structure. But the way the verses are related to each other changes. And the verses approach each other more and more the closer we get to the end of the song. In verse number 1, we have got an A-B-A-B pattern that does not get repeated. Climbing up on Solsbury Hill, I could see the city light. Wind was blowing, time stood still, eagle flew out of the night. And the second half of the verse introduces rhymes that are completely different. He was something to observe, came in close, I heard a voice, standing, stretching every nerve, I had to listen, had no choice. So again, we have an A-B-A-B structure, very clear, but they don't relate at all to the first half of the verse. In the second verse, the two verse halves get closer together. Second verse goes like this. To keep in silence I resigned, my friends would think I was a nut, turning water into wine, open doors would soon be shut. Again, the A-B-A-B pattern, and the B lines reappear in the second verse half. So I went from day to day, this is a C line, but then, though my life was in a rut. So we had nut and shut in the first verse half, and now we continue with rut, till I thought of what I'd say, another C line, which connection I should cut. So if we look at the two verse halves together, we would have an A-B-A-B, C-B-C-B rhyme scheme. Verse number 3 now connects the two verse halves completely. When illusions spin her net, I'm never where I wanna be. We have an at rhyme and an e rhyme, and this gets repeated or reappears throughout the complete verse number 3. And liberty she pirouette, when I think that I am free, watched by empty silhouettes, who close their eyes but still can see. No one taught them etiquette, I will show another me. A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, plus really interesting rhymes with a lot of words derivated from the French language. What rhymes with net? Pirouette, silhouette, and etiquette. Quite nice rhyming choices there. It's not very easy to find rhymes, as many rhymes as Peter Gabriel did in verse number 3. So you have to find 4 A rhymes and 4 B rhymes, which is not always very easy. Good job. When we look at rhyming patterns, we also have to look at this transitional bridge chorus section, where it says, I did not believe the information, just had to trust imagination, A, but then we have got no reappearing rhymes. My heart going boom, boom, boom. Son, he said, grab your things, I've come to take you home. Okay, so within this transitional bridge chorus section, we have got 2 rhymes at the beginning, but no rhyme later. This structure reappears in the 2 following transitional bridges and choruses. I was feeling part of the scenery, I walked right out of the machinery, and then again this boom, boom, boom part. And chorus number 3, transitional bridge number 3, today I don't need a replacement, I'll tell them what the smile on my face meant. I'm going to talk about this in just a minute because it's amazing rhyming. And then again, boom, boom, boom stuff. So we have got AA at the beginning of the transitional bridge chorus section, and then no rhymes at all. Replacement and face meant. What we are looking at here is called a mosaic rhyme. A mosaic rhyme is when you take one word and rhyme it with a combination of words. Replacement is the one word that we actually want to find a rhyme for. what we do now is check the rhyming dictionary, maybe are not very satisfied with the words that are suggested in the replacement section, and then think about different smaller words that form a rhyming combination that rhymes with replacement. So what sounds do we need? We need an ace and an nt sound combined. Face, meant. Replacement. I'll show them what the smile on my face meant. This is genius rhyming because you can't cheat your way through this rhyming technique. You have to know the words. There is no rhyming dictionary for mosaic rhymes. So this is something that requires a lot of knowledge of the words and of the application of the rhyming strategy. I guess this is everything for Peter Gabriel's amazing song Solsbury Hill. As always, if you like this, make sure to leave your thumbs up, to subscribe to the channel, and to leave in the comments if you want me to analyze your favorite song. So again, this one was a request, and I'll make sure to get your requests as well, as long as I'm happy with them. Also, please spread the word. Tell everybody that you know about the Let's Talk Song channel. If they are not really into music theory, make them watch the cover videos first. And if they are nerds and want to become music nerds just like you and me, make sure they also watch the analysis videos. As always, it's a pleasure to do this with you. I guess we've talked song. You can talk about Marie Kondo and her magic cleaning approach now. Climbing up on Solsbury Hill, I could see the city light.